Welcome to this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. This is my weekly video where I take a look at the top 3 comics that I'm looking forward to reading on New Comic Book Day. And New Comic Book Day this week is April 12th, 2023. There's a lot of good reads this week coming out. A lot of independent comics on my list this week. Image Comics, AWA. So if you are a fan of reading good content, check out my full pull list in the description of the video below and you'll see all the books that I'm picking up. So let's jump into the top 3. Coming in at number 3 this week, we've got Predator issue number 2. This is from Marvel Comics, so it's not one of the indie comics this week, but it's interesting. They've actually updated the logos on both this, and they also came out with Planet of the Apes issue number 1 last week, and they were including the Fox or 20th Century Fox logos across the tops of these comics. I find that interesting. You know, there was this big merger between Fox and Disney Marvel, and it brought in the X-Men over at Marvel. That's one of the big exciting things that's happening, but we also get these movie titles in comic book form now. Apparently they've worked the rights out, so that's kind of cool. And this new Predator series is coming off the tail end of the last Predator series. It's really just a continuation, and it has the same character that I feel like they did really good character development. Ed Brisson is on the writing of both the last title and this current one. If you are a Predator fan, I highly recommend picking it up. I think that if you've seen some of the Predator movies, they're kind of, the newer ones are 50-50, you know, as far as how well they've been received by critics and audience, but I have to say that this comic would make a great movie. I think that it would be something that could easily translate into another blockbuster hit for the Predator series over at what is now Fox Disney Marvel. And at number 2 this week, we've got Red Zone issue number 2 from AWA Comics. Ever since, if you've watched my show, ever since last year, the number 1 pick for 2022 for me was the series called The Fourth Man, which was put out by AWA, and that really hooked me into AWA Comics. And since then, I've picked up several of the trade paperbacks. You know, kudos to AWA. If you go to the trade paperback section and look at the prices on the back, you'll see that their trades are usually only $9.99. So compared to some of the other trades that are double that price, I really am grateful that they are putting out trade paperbacks on their series at a lower cost to us, the consumers. But with that said, this new comic, Red Zone, is an interesting spy thriller. That's what it's looking like it's shaping up to be. And really what caught my attention is that it's being written by Colin Bunn, who is a really good writer. If you haven't read some of his other titles, you should check him out. And also Mike Deodato, who is kind of a resident artist over at AWA. His artwork is really cool. I've mentioned before, he likes to almost, I don't know what the term would be, swipe or adopt the likenesses of famous actors and put them into the book, and I think that's already happened in issue number 1, so it'll be interesting to see if it happens again in issue number 2. But really, Red Zone issue 2, if you are into that kind of 007 spy thriller mystery, I would highly recommend checking it out. Looks like it's going to be another good read. And at number 1 this week, we've got 8 Billion Genies issue number 8. We have hit the finale. I don't even know what year it's going to be. If you've been following this series, you'll know that the way that they have written, well, Charles Soule has written the series, is that it jumps from a few days to a few months to a few years to the extreme future. So we'll see what we get in this last issue. This has been one of my favorite series I've read in a while. It's definitely going to be on my top 10 for 2023, even though it comes back from 2022 as well, bridges the 2 years there. But I think this may be one of the top 5 titles that I've read. It's just been a really fun read, and I think there's been a lot of spec on the first couple issues because it didn't get picked up right away by a lot of folks, and it got optioned. I think Amazon optioned it, so there's rumors that there's going to be a TV show made out of this, which could, you know, grant it even more popularity. But really, you take the base plot of what would you do with one wish? And I think every person kind of has that idea, and this book takes that and manifests that idea to a whole new level. And it's just so interesting to see what Charles Soule came up with as he has been writing each issue, and I am really looking forward to seeing how it wraps up with this finale. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you can always find all the comics that I'm going to be buying this week in the description of the video below. Remember to read them, bag them, and board them, and we'll see you next time on the Pull List Examiner show.